Aloha, I'm Timory McDonald, owner and house photographer of Aloha Ever After. In the first 3 videos, I've gone over the first few steps that are most important in picking a wedding coordinator and starting to plan your beach wedding. Kauai beach wedding or any beach wedding, really. This video is kind of the nitty-gritty of how to actually plan your Hawaii beach wedding. So the first thing you need to do is actually go ahead and take that leap of faith and make a deposit. Hopefully you picked a company that has a relatively small, reasonable deposit, and this helps actually book all of the vendors and make sure that the company is committed to you and you're committed to the company. Now, with most companies, you don't need to pay the balance until later. With Aloha Ever After, it's 30 days before the wedding. So in most cases, this is a small output of money in the beginning, and then you have plenty of time to pay the remaining balance while you pay and take care of other things. So put down this deposit. It's going to make everything go more smoothly, and I think it helps give brides a sense of, all right, it's all set in stone. Once you've done that, then pick your wedding date. You actually don't have to have that many things set in stone before you put down your deposit. I've seen a lot of people wait and try to get all the details in line before they put down the deposit, which you can do, but I think it's best to just put down the deposit once you know you want to work with the coordinator and work through the steps one by one. Put down the deposit, pick the wedding date. The next thing you want to do is pick your most important vendors. That would be your minister. They're the foundation, whether it be a spiritual or non-denominational wedding or civil union. They're the foundation of everything. And then of course your photographer, which to me is extremely important, and artistically you want to pick someone that you like their photos and that their prices are reasonable. Then possibly this may include a videographer and a musician. I wouldn't forget the musician because it adds so much beauty and depth to not only the experience but the video as well. And a lot of people tend to think that video is an option. It of course is or isn't, but I would seriously consider it and ask to see some different options or at least different examples from your potential wedding coordinator. After you have picked your major vendors, this is basically the structure of your wedding. And a lot is done by that point. Then you can probably go to your own more individual plans, like getting your dress and things like your plans, getting from your house actually to the island that you're going to have your destination wedding on. Then when you return to actually the Kauai wedding plans, I would focus next on balancing your budget between what your priorities are and being creative. Now, some wedding coordinators basically just have the price and that's what's it, and that's fine. That's an acceptable way to do business. I personally try to be really creative with people's budgets because I often find that our dream wedding is just around the corner of what our bank statement says. And that's close enough that we can normally get it there. So a lot of times people have money for the structure, but there are a couple of extra frills, whether it be video, I notice often, or maybe something like the music, and it's just pushing a little bit too much. And I always encourage people to not push themselves too much, but to make sure that they get their top priorities. So go through and figure out what are the top 3 or 5 priorities for your wedding. It might be having a certain person there. It might be having a certain kind of flowers. It might be having a certain location. Figure out what those are and make sure that those are put into your budget and that there's enough, there's enough of everything to make that happen. Then I would basically say, try to be creative with the other stuff. Now this is a place that I'm great. If you're interested in speaking to me, I'd be happy to help out on the phone at no obligation or cost. For example, one thing that I do for customers as a creative way to fit in those couple of extra little things that would really make it their dream wedding is to offer to have my services or the thing that they want to add on, like video, and have that be something that's like a gift registry. So if they have some friends or family who want to give them a present, but the bride wants to avoid the awkwardness of having them just straight out give them money for their wedding, they can contact me and pay directly for, say, a video or part of a video. And with things like live streaming, that helps the people that are left behind be really included in a very special experience and gives them the opportunity to be there when they can't be there physically. So come up with your budget, talk to your wedding coordinator who hopefully will be open to being creative and making what you want work within your budget. And then I would say compare that to the package or list of services that your wedding coordinator offers. Normally there'll be a package and you're close to it, but you're not quite there. I would recommend on only picking a wedding coordinator who lets you add and subtract from whatever packages they have or works with an a la carte situation, so that you can really create your own personal dream wedding without having to try to fit into anybody else's box or package. Then after that, the next step is to pick your location within the island, whether that's a beach or a tropical location, private or public. Actually pick the location. Again, a lot of people think they have to do this right at the beginning, and this adds to that sense of overwhelm. And you don't really have to pick this stuff out at the beginning. As long as you have the time and the services already reserved by placing that deposit, these people are willing to come to where you are. So it doesn't really matter if they drive 20 miles north or 20 miles south. And this gives you the leeway to be able to step back and relax and go, oh, I can wait a month or two to figure out the location, and it's all going to be okay because the people that are most important are going to be there. After that, I would return to the unsolved or unfigured out yet lower priority things on your list. So once you've marked out the budget and the time and the space for your top priorities, and now you've paid for the other things along your way, return to the things that were, say, instead of the top 3 to 5, more like the 5 to 10 lower priorities that you have. From there on, excuse me, take a look at the flowers. That's something that can always be figured out, and that gives you leeway within the budget. And flowers can be picked out much later in the process, again, not trying to do everything at once. If you follow this logical step of ways to plan a wedding, a beach wedding, a destination wedding, anywhere, I think that you'll find that your overwhelm and your stress are greatly reduced, and it'll be a much more enjoyable process as your wedding coordinator presents each question and you come up with an answer. I hope that was helpful. Have a great day, and aloha from paradise.